Chad here with another Mythgard deck, and today we are going to be looking at a red and orange mid-range deck that puts an emphasis on rush minions to keep control of the board, with a big swing turn to close it out on either Stairway to Hades or to Heaven and back. This is a very flexible deck depending on both your draws and the opponent. It can go a lot of ways. You can both rush down the slower decks, you can attrition the quicker decks. You can even race a lot of the quicker aggro decks as well if you have the right draws. So let's go ahead and hop into the deck list and we'll see what's going on. And make sure that you do like this video if you like the deck, and subscribe for more Mythgard content. Alright, so hopping into the deck list, of course we'll cover the path and the power first. The path, Journey of Souls, we have about 30 minions in this deck, so that's going to make this a very great path for some card advantage, as well as with our rush minions. It's very strong with those rush minions. If you start on the pursuit, play a Trapezist turn 2, kill off one of their minions, and it'll pop right back into your hand the next turn. And then for the power, we are running Infuse. This is some extra chip damage, lets you trade up on some other minions if you need to. This is a little stronger than I would say than Impel is in this deck because of the rush significance that we're looking for to really control the board and push that last bit of damage. Infuse is much more helpful in that than Impel would be to move your guys around. And then looking at our rush package, of course, we're going to be running the 4 Trapezis, the 4 Wyverns, and the 2 Abaddons. We are not running the Panic Raiders, mostly because we have plenty of card advantage that we're able to generate through other spells like the Dark Passengers, like the Xerxian Recruiters, like the Parry at the Gates, and like the Shopworn Bull. So it's just not necessary to be running those, and we would much rather have pretty much all of these cards in this list as opposed to those Panic Raiders. And then looking at our early drops, we have our Strogi Pup, we have our Eager Recruits, we have our Xerxian Recruiter, again 30 minions in this deck. This is rarely going to whiff. The Shadowvar Beast, this card was recently buffed. This slot would typically be a Serendipity Ifrit, but that card just isn't going to cut it anymore. This card is much better since it gives all enemy minions in the opposing 3 lanes -1 attack, and that fragile 1 is very key to this card's viability, especially with our rush minions. And then, of course, we have our Parry at the Gates for some great card draw. It's a good chump blocker to help relieve some pressure if you need to. We have some more removal in the Scion of Pride. The Pride of Place spell is extremely flexible in this deck. If they do leave one of your smaller guys unblocked, you can easily sneak in an extra 4 damage by transforming like a token into a 4/4 Spirit Lion as opposed to having it a 2/1 or a 1/1. We have 2 of the Seal of Exile. This will shut down Reanimator decks. This will shut down a lot of other rush-based opponents. Play this on the Iron Belly Wyverns or the Daring Trapezist, so they can't do any of that. And we do have our Stairway and 2 Heaven and Back. These both are very strong with our rush minions. Stairway will give them Frenzy, and they keep rush when they respawn. So basically, when the occupying minion dies, it revives and has Frenzy permanently, which is insane, and it will help you sneak out many lethals. And then looking into Heaven and Back, when the occupying non-angel minion dies, so that does have to be a non-angel. Again, I've covered this before, but it will not work for Scion of Pride, it will not work for Armageddon Angel, but it will work for all of your rush minions. And then so it gets +1/+1 back into your hand. It has Agile, and it mana cost reduced by 2 permanently, which means when it pops back into your hand with Journey of Souls, that means when it yeah, so it doesn't get ephemeral, so it will pop back into your hand with Journey of Souls, and it'll be 2 mana cheaper still. So that's very strong. One of the biggest buffs of this deck, Wings of Abaddon, its sacrifice ability no longer costs mana. So you can actually sacrifice something that is on your Stairway or on your Heaven and Back. It'll either respawn or pop back into your hand, and you can play it again or get that extra push for lethal at the end. And then, of course, we have our 7 Ring Ritual. This will just close out some games that you are missing that extra little bit of pressure. This will make a lot of 3/1 Hellions, and then if your opponent can't block every single lane or clear off a good amount of them, you'll pretty much win on the spot. So that is the list there. So we'll go ahead and hop into some replays and see how it plays out. Alright, so this first replay we are hopping into is against Inverted, a champion level player. He is playing mono red vampires. It's one of the more popular post-patch decks. We have a pretty good starting hand. We have our Strogi Pup and our Eager Recruit, so we have plenty of options for turn 1. We're going to drop the Recruit first because we would rather get that back from our Journey of Souls than a Strogi Pup. We are also on the Pursuit, so we have the option of throwing in a Trapezist to clear anything that they play, and then it'll pop right back into our hand. They play a 3/1 Agile Vampire, so we are not too concerned with that, so we're just going to go ahead and gain that board pressure back, drop the Recruit, drop the Strogi Pup. I know the Agile can swing through the Recruit, but that Recruit will trade evenly next turn, and we're not too worried about 3 damage coming in when we have our Strogi Pup on the left hand side to heal us right back up. They do clear it off with a Trapezist, but we will go ahead and just push more pressure in on the left hand side. We have a better board position, and with our Strogi Pup giving us a 4 health swing each turn, we are just in a better racing position, so they can't really outrace us or outpressure us. They clear off the Strogi Pup, and we get it right back into our hand from our Journey of Souls. We'll go ahead and burn that because we're not too concerned with it. And I want to drop the Scion right in the middle here so that they can't put a minion just right here and block all three of my guys. And with that, we have too much pressure on the board, too many things in our hand, and they just have to concede because there's no way they can come back from this amount of pressure. Alright, and hopping into the second replay against Madoka HK, another champion level player, so this really shows the strength of this deck. He's actually running a really interesting tricolor deck. It's going to be orange, blue, green. So we're going to go ahead and drop our 1-drop on 1, get that Parser Recruit into our hand. With our Shopworn Bull, we are in a pretty great spot to outvalue a lot of decks. So we will burn our parry here so that we can have that extra orange gem to drop our Xertian Recruiter, and we do pull the Wings of Abaddon. That's a great pickup. We'll drop the Xertian Recruiter over to the left. The board clears from left to right in any sweeping scenarios, so we would want our Xertian Recruiter back into our hand as opposed to our Eager Recruit in that situation, but we did have to clear off that Thane, so we're going to get our Eager Recruit back, which is just fine. They burn their green, showing their tricolor right here, so they can have that Ruslan's Blight. That's a pretty tough situation for us. Well, it would be, if we didn't have the perfect answer in the Wings of Abaddon. So we'll go ahead and clear that off, and then we'll swing to face with that 2/3, just keeping that pressure up. And they play the Shadvar Beast. Again, a very strong card post-patch. We'll go ahead and start this value engine going, clearing off that Parser Recruit for some extra cards. We're going to trade that in, and we're pretty much going to forfeit the left side of the board. We traded that in to get our Journey of Souls counter up to 3 so that we can get another card back into our hand at the start of the next turn. They'll drop their Scion right there to try to block our Bull. They don't play their Pride of Place right here, so that gives us a perfect opportunity to just go ahead and completely kill this Scion with our Rush Minion and Infuse, and then just keep putting that pressure to their face. I will burn that ephemeral 1-drop because we're not too concerned with playing it, and we really want to start getting that mana up for the Armageddon Angel if we need to play that. They play another Thane right in the middle with an Odin Throne on top of it, so that gives a minion Alpha Strike, and then it also draws them an extra card at the beginning of each turn. So we move our Shopworn Bull right over because the Alpha Strike won't kill it off, and it'll trade very easily with that. We do also pick up the Extract Life, which will take care of any other minions that they place on the Odin Throne. they play the Magnus, which is pretty painful for us. That gives them the Alpha Strike that clears off the rest of the minions. But we get our Wings of Abaddon right back into our hand, and we'll go ahead and play our Armageddon Angel right in the middle here. It's a 7/4. We'll be able to extract life anything they play on the Odin Throne. And with Wings of Abaddon and extract life, we will have exact lethal from our 6 damage or 7 damage on the Armageddon Angel, and the 4 damage on the Wings of Abaddon. So we'll go ahead and swing that in and take this game. So that is the deck. It's a pretty flexible deck. Can outrace a lot of aggro. It can outvalue a lot of the control decks. And it just has a lot of pressure that it can put out repeatedly over and over again. It has really good draw with Journey of Souls and all of your other draw engines. So it's really hard to get attrition to yourself. And there's a plenty of different ways you can push for that final bit of damage. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know how you do. If you have any suggestions, like the video if you like the deck, and subscribe for more Mythgard content. And remember, GG for Matt.